Hi, this is Samantha Denefe with Your ID and Arkansas Catholic, and with me today is Father Mauricio from the River Valley. He's got a couple different parishes out there in Dardanelle and Danville and Russellville.
Yes,
right?
That's correct.
Oh my goodness. And we are here this week with the priest formation. They've got a great presenter, Deacon Keith Strom, and he is talking about intentional discipleship and evangelization. So Father Mauricio, I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
say
good.
it for me, my poor
Mauricio.
Mauricio?
Yes.
Okay. What stands out to you from your faith formation this week?
One of the most powerful points he made was about just the importance of walking with people in their faith journey. And he said it this way. He said, only intentional disciples can make other disciples. You know, and for me, as a disciple of the Lord, the whole workshop was really kind of a call to conversion and say, you know, I am a teacher, I am an administrator to some extent, I am a counselor, I put on many hats as a pastor, but my core identity is as a disciple of the Lord. And so for me to hear that was very refreshing, and like I said, it's a call to conversion and say, I need to become a very intentional disciple of the Lord. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I can teach people a lot of things, I can take care of the building, I can do many of the things that I need to do administratively as a priest, but I will forget the most important part, which is to create more disciples, to carry on the work of the Lord, you know, in creating other intentional disciples so that they can preach the good news. So that was
great.
The most powerful part.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. So, in being an intentional disciple, do you have any tips, maybe like one or two things that really stand out to you that are important in being an intentional disciple?
Yes, and this is already kind of the things that I was trying to work on. It's two things that I've learned from my spiritual director, just a great man, is first of all to be grateful, and that's something that I've learned just even as a priest, and as I continue to kind of learn more about my spirituality, and I've realized this is something that St. Ignatius has taught me. Being grateful is one of the most important things as children of God. You know, one of the most important traits and characteristics. And likewise, being ungrateful, he says, is one of the graver sins, and the root, oftentimes, of many other sins. So I think to be an intentional disciple means to be intentionally grateful. I have also learned, you know, I often used to think, if I'm happy, if I get what I want, then I'll be grateful. But some of the things that my parishioners have taught me, and I'm blessed to have so many kids, right, as a spiritual father, because any parent knows this, your kids teach you so much. And for me, my parishioners have taught me that it's not happiness that comes first and then being grateful, but it's actually, if you're grateful, if you're intentionally grateful, then you will be a happy person. And I see that over and over again in my parishioners. And so it's always a call to conversion from them to me, right? Because it's so easy for me to kind of be like, well, you know, things aren't going the way they should. I don't really like this. Or I become ungrateful. And yet I miss the ability to see all the gifts that God is constantly showering down upon us. I forget who it is that said, you know, I think it was St. Ignatius too, who said, you know, we would sooner tire of receiving God's gifts than Him giving them to us. So He's always giving us gifts. So being grateful, intentionally grateful, is for me something I'm working on as far as being an intentional disciple. And being grateful not just internally, but with other people. Yeah. You know, when you say thank you to other people. I know this sounds really kind of basic.
No, it's good.
But that's what I love about it, right? It's being holy. I mean, Pope Francis just came out with his letter on being holy. I forget the Latin name for it, but anyways, he's talking about being holy in these most ordinary and common everyday ways. And it's a call for all of us. And I think being grateful, saying thank you to all those who have supported us and continue to do so and be there for us, is an integral part of being an intentional disciple. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, the other thing is to be a contemplative in action. And like I said, this is something my spiritual directors taught me. It's something that St. Ignatius too, because I'm really kind of big on Ignatian spirituality. And Ignatius teaches us to be contemplatives in action. My spiritual director, oftentimes when I go see him, will share stories with me. And the stories are fascinating and great, but really they're quite ordinary. What makes them extraordinary is just the way that he begins to reveal to me, little by little, how he was able to see the Lord in all that he was doing. And so that has an ability to change the way I look at things. So see, the content of the story isn't the most important thing, but it's the dynamic. He's teaching me to see the Lord in my everyday parish ministry. I remember one time I went to him and was sharing the struggles of building a school playground, which was my first project to carry on as a pastor. I never thought building a school playground was going to be my first parish project. It was fun, but it was also, tough.
Yeah.
School playgrounds are pretty expensive. And there's all these regulations, all these things you got to do, fundraising and whatnot. And as him and I began to talk about it, he slowly helped me see how acquiring every swing and getting everybody to work on this playground was building the kingdom of God. And I was like, whoa, it's like, that's true.
Yeah.
We are building the kingdom of God. And it wasn't just a playground we were building. That's a place where our kids play while their parents attend conferences and where they learn in church, where we have parish gatherings. And so it just was beautiful as he helped me realize and contemplate how this was a project of the kingdom of God. And so I've tried little and little just to acquire that sense of finding God in the midst of my everyday life. And so that's some of the key ways that I'm trying to be an intentional disciple, to share that with my parishioners, but then also to allow them to change the way I see things, because they're capable of finding God in all things.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful when they do, and they help me realize it's like, wow, I'm not living contemplatively.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, and I look forward to seeing all the beautiful things you do, including all the playgrounds you make at all your parishes. This is Samantha Denefe and Father Mauricio with Your ID in Arkansas Catholic. Join us next month. We're always the first Friday of the month at noon on Facebook. Have a great day.